Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So today in the success story session, we have with us Miss Mamta, who has cleared RBI Grade B in her first attempt. And she only started preparing after the notification came out in January. So she had the preparation of only 1 or 2 months for the RBI, but she had a background of UPSC for like she prepared for UPSC for 1.5 or we can say 2 years. So we will be knowing more about her background, about her graduation and all from her only. So, hello, Miss Mamta.
Hello, ma'am.
First of all, heartiest congratulations to you for clearing RBI Grade B.
Thank you so much.
So, would you like to tell about the viewers or the aspirants that how you cleared it in such a short span of the time, and like how do you did your graduation after that? What was your journey?
Okay, fine. I will tell in short about my journey. I graduated in 2019 from Government College of Engineering, Amravati. In my final year itself, I had started preparing for civil services exam, and after that, for 2 years, I prepared for UPSC. But due to some personal reasons, I took decision that now I need to get employed, and I already knew about RBI Grade B exam. In 2019, I would have given that time, but I missed the notification somehow. So in 2021, I appeared for RBI Grade B exam, and with due planning and being strategic somewhat, I cleared the exam in my first attempt.
Okay, so you started preparing after January, like after the notification
Yes,
of
after the
2021.
notification came out, right.
Okay, so you were the first candidate that was calm about the descriptive because before that you haven't given the exam. So it was not a very bad change for you.
Uh, yes.
Okay, so we can just go to the strategy part. Any message or anything that you want to say to the freshers when they start the preparation, that how you started the preparation?
I would say means two things. First of all, you should know yourself, where you stand, your preparation level, where you stand at that point. What are your strengths and weaknesses after knowing the syllabus and paper pattern, etc. You get to know the areas where you need to work upon, and the strengths where you can means with due preparation you can do well. So this is the first thing, and second thing, I would like to tell that planning is important, because without planning the preparation goes haphazard, and that should not be there. So planning is important. Means I used to write down means this much syllabus I have to cover, and this much days are there. So how will I proceed with that? I used to write that down all, and means this is important because it gives you confidence that yes, I have planned in this much days and I can do it. Of course, there might be some chances that it would not get fulfilled, but there is always a good chance that you can rectify your loopholes, and at the end it will be all good, that you will be prepared well.
Yes. So the two important things that you told about is first that you should know about your strength and weaknesses. Then only you can start the preparation. And the second thing you told the aspirants is that you should plan well. This much days I have and this much I have to cover. So according to that, you have to plan well. Okay, so freshers, this is how you can start your preparation. And people adopt different strategy, but your strategy is very good that the planning should be done beforehand only.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, and like when you started, how did you came to know about the RBI?
I came to know in my final year itself about RBI Grade C exam, and as I said, in 2019 I somehow missed the notification, but in 2021 then I decided to appear for the exam.
Okay. So you had in the back of your mind that you will prepare for RBI at
Yes.
some time. Okay, nice.
Yes, I had decided that I will give the exam.
Okay. So now I think we can move to the strategy part that how you started for preparing the phase one. Like many of the people have the misconception that you are from, like people are from UPSC background, many of the candidates. So they will have a upper hand in the GA portion. So what do you think, that you had the upper hand in the GA portion? That's why you were able to clear so fast? Or this is just a misconception and nothing else?
I think it's a misconception because preparing for GA is a bit different. Means for preparing for UPSC and preparing for RBI exam, they are two different things. Though somewhat similar, but they are different because in RBI Grade B exam there are many factual questions. If we see previous year papers, but yes, I can say this year in 2021 exam, the paper was somewhat it was more like UPSC because there were statement-based questions
Yes.
that are asked in UPSC. So it was toughest ever phase one paper, and the GA portion was much tough. So this year I can say it was much similar to UPSC. But if we see previous year papers, that is not the case. So we have to adopt different strategies for preparing the general awareness portion of RBI Grade B exam. And if you ask me what I did was, I think we need 4 to 5 months of current affairs preparation. And what I did is I took out my own notes because I knew that revision is the key to get through 80 questions in 25 minutes. And for that, I decided that I will take out my own notes and I will revise from them only. Because when we took out notes, we know that means we are filtering it according to the exam, and I think no source can be like that because coverage is much vast in many sources. But if we took out our own notes, it gives us a confidence as well, and revision is it becomes much easier. So that was my strategy. And in that also, I had made two sections for banking and finance. I used to took out the notes in different sections and one general section that in that I will take out my other notes. And along with that, we know that there are many factual questions like headquarters of organizations, then obituaries also, some days are also there, some books are also there. So when I went through current affairs and when I get such news, so I had made different pages for such sections as well. So this was my GA strategy for phase one.
Okay, so you followed many sources, but it was like you were taking out your own notes and you were filtering the news also.
I followed means limited sources as well. I used to follow Affairs Cloud website and Civil's Daily website, and I was reading newspapers as well. So limited sources, but I took my own notes.
Okay, that's good. And like, what is your strategy? Because newspaper is also very big, so you can't cover every news also. So how did you read the newspaper? Because there are many useless news also.
Okay. So first of all, if you know the syllabus, then it is very easy to filter the news, and there are very few news that you have to read from the newspaper. So first of all, I used to jot down the news that I have to read, and then I will read the newspaper. So
Okay.
like that.
So you should have a clear idea of the syllabus that you have, and
Syllabus,
then
right.
yeah, and then you can follow the newspaper as per the syllabus only. You don't need to read useless news for the exam. That will be just a waste
For
of time.
newspaper, we don't have to read.
Yes. And so you also told the sources for the GA that you used to follow some of the newspapers and some of the websites for the like GA portion. Now coming to the quant and reasoning and English, like did you follow the mock test or you started with the simple books and then like clearing your basics, then you followed the mock test or you did the mock test?
So as I had very less time because I started preparing after the notification came out. So what I did was I knew that GA and English was my strength. I can do it on current affairs I was covering on regular basis, and English I did through some marathon sessions because I was good in English. And means aptitude and reasoning means that was somewhat challenging for me. Means though I was good at learning the concepts, I could grasp them easily, but here means solving them in time was necessary. So I knew that I had to practice a lot. So my focus was on aptitude and reasoning. I used to devote a lot of time for practicing those sections. And what I did was I cleared my concepts through some YouTube videos. I make good use of YouTube for preparing these two sections. Through YouTube, I covered the concepts, and then I used to practice previous year questions. So like this, I covered the aptitude and reasoning part. And for that means first of all, I went through previous year questions. Then I jot down the topics that I need to cover. Then I followed YouTube to clear the concepts. And then again, I practiced the previous year questions to make myself thorough with the topics of content reason. Like
Okay.
that, I prepared.
So the strategy you followed was like go through the previous year question papers, and then you will know the syllabus, like what kind of questions are coming, like what topics are coming in the exam. And then you started like clearing your basics for that. And then you started with the mock test and giving the mock test after clearing your basics. That's a good thing. Usually the people also have the misconception that the people, like students from the engineering background, do not have to go through this quantum reasoning. They can just leave it because they are so good in this.
That is not the case, because means कितना भी आप अच्छे से मतलब कितना भी अच्छा हो आपका एप्टी और रीजनिंग, लेकिन एग्जाम से पहले तो प्रैक्टिस करना बहुत जरूरी है ये टॉपिक्स का.
Yes, you have to give as much mock test so that you can clear the like, because there is also time bound. Even if you are good in the maths or reasoning, you need to give the
Yes.
answers in the time bound period. Okay,
Right.
that was a good strategy, I can say, because it's like you have to clear your basics and then you have to give the mock test, or you can see through the papers also that what kind of questions come, because you do not have to cover each and every topic of quant or reasoning. Okay, so sources, any sources, particular sources that you followed, or just YouTube videos, different kind of?
For quant and reasoning, I relied on YouTube because through books I couldn't get that much conceptual clarity.
Okay, that's nice. And any message for the freshers that how can they start their preparation for the phase one?
For phase one, I would say that first of all, just go through just go through previous year papers first of all, because they give a good insight, how the questions are coming on each section: aptitude, reasoning, English, and general awareness. So aptitude and reasoning, after knowing the topics that you have to prepare, I think you can follow any good source, a book or any video lecture or any source, and then solve the questions, practice them thoroughly, and then mock tests. And for general awareness, I would say yes, through previous year papers, one will get the idea on how to filter the news that you are covering through various sources. And once that is done, revision is the key. So for that, I think note making is a good option. But I think so, but many students might get that note making is tedious job. But once it is done, it will give you a good confidence for appearing in the exam. So I think this is the strategy for phase one, according to me.
So she has really nicely told the whole strategy in such simple words that the aspirants will be able to grasp it. And I do not need to like cut it down now, means to tell them again, because you have just told it so nicely and simply. So that's nice. So the aspirants, now you know the strategy for phase one from Miss Mamta, and you can add it on, or you can just like, if you have some other kind of like mindset that no, means I can't write the notes and all. So that is your strategy, but you have the path now, that how you can follow the directions, like first previous year question papers, and then you know the syllabus, you know the topics that the like examiner asks the questions mostly. So this is the strategy of Miss Mamta for phase 1. Now I think we can move to the phase 2 part. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, did you do the integrated preparation for phase 1 or phase 2, or you were like, no, I will focus on the phase 1, and then after clearing the phase 1, or after phase 1, I will focus on the phase 2?
Yeah, while phase 1, I focused only on phase 1, and after phase 1, I shifted to phase 2.
But there is a very less time between phase 1 and phase 2. So how did you manage the thing?
Yes, as I said that I had prepared for UPSC, CSE. So that gave me a good foundation. So I knew that my economy and finance is good. I had prepared these two sections in deep. So I was confident that I will do well in phase 2. But management was new for me, and that I had to prepare separately. So I was confident enough that I will do well in phase 2. So that's why I focused on phase 1 during the phase 1 exam.
Okay, then means usually the people follow the integrated preparation. But if you have less time for phase 1 only, then they can focus on the phase 1, and like there is different strategy for different people also. So now, like phase 2, how did you start with the English? Did you write many papers? Did you solve many mock tests and all for English also?
As there was very less time, so for English, what I did was I took past year papers. From that, I practiced precise and comprehension section. And for essay, as means I was well versed with me. I had content, just I had to represent it well. So I practiced just one or two essays. I typed them because in real exam, we have to type. So few essays, I was just in mind itself that I will like this, and two essays I typed because I needed to practice as well. So yes, English is easy, but due respect should be given to the subject. So I did that. I paid due respect to the subject because I had less time. So I did it in this way.
Okay. Okay, nice. And any source, or you just followed the previous year question paper?
No. For English, I didn't follow any source, just previous year papers and my own content.
Okay. Now moving to the ESI. Like in ESI, you said that the UPSC background has given you enough leverage, enough base. So but ESI contains current affairs. So you
Yes.
went through the newspapers and all?
Yes. For means the preparation that I was doing for phase 1 for GA section, that I continued here also. But yes, here also I referred previous year papers. I saw how the questions are being asked, and accordingly, then I used to make my own notes for current affairs. So that helped me in phase 2 as well. So like that, I prepared the current affairs portion, and as I said that my static portion was done through my UPSC preparation. Just I revised them in a way so that I could write the descriptive answers in the actual paper. And there were social issues and environmental issues as well. That also I covered through my notes, and like that I prepared for ESI.
Okay. So we can say that when you were preparing for the phase 1, like general awareness, then only you covered the ESI portion also. So you did the simultaneously. So you did the integrated preparation of ESI and GA kind of.
Yes.
But finance and management you did after the phase 1 was completed.
Yes.
Okay. So finance and management, you were from the engineering background. So how did you manage the finance and management portion?
Okay, so most of the part from finance as well, it was covered in my UPSC preparation, but there were some parts like derivatives, etc. So that were new for me. For that, I referred some YouTube videos and took out my own notes so that I can revise it. And yes, management was completely new for me. I hadn't prepared for management in my graduation or after that. For management, I adopted an approach of that I referred some YouTube videos. I think Dr. Amit Lal, his channel is there. So there are good videos, good short videos. From there, I took out my own notes. So for management, I had prepared my whole notes and I revised it frequently so that I could represent it in descriptive part of the paper.
Okay. So according to you, like what is a good source? Like what is a good way of writing the descriptive answer? Like what points did you follow?
Mhm. I think for writing the descriptive answers, it depends on the question. So, like I remember, one of the questions was write down any five provisions from the latest budget. For writing this question, I think we should write it point wise because that gives a good impression. If we write it in paragraph format, so it will be difficult for the evaluator. So if we write it in point format, it will be easy for them to evaluate. And if a question comes like, means there was another question, means what is poverty? And what are the various methods used to assess poverty and their advantages and disadvantages like that. I think we should break up the question and we should serve the demand of each part. Like this poverty question was much elongated and there were some sections in that, so we should fulfill the demand of each section while writing the answer. So like that we should adopt a strategy according to question. We can write the answer.
Okay. Okay, that was nice because like if you have the long questions, like the question is very lengthy, then you can break the question and answer it like that, means
Yes,
all the
we'll fulfill
portions.
the demand of each section. Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be very in a very haphazard manner.
Haphazard, it will be
Okay.
haphazard, and so there might be a chance that evaluator might give us less marks. So that's why if we do like this, so it gives a good impression.
Yes. Okay. Very nice. So we discussed about the descriptive and like, did you follow? Because like, how was your typing speed? It was good, or you practiced a
Uh,
lot?
Actually, before I think I hadn't practiced much. I had bought a laptop in December itself, so that gave me confidence that yes, I can type at least. But it was not enough, so I had to practice typing as well. So as I said that while you asked me question about English, so I said that I used to type up theses with my own. So like that, I practiced my typing as well because there was less time. So I did like this. So I practiced for typing as well, and I practiced for my other sections, English and English, etc. as well.
Okay, that's really nice. And like, did you completed like, did the whole thing like 400 words or 600 words in the FM and ESI, or you were like that quality matters more, so you skipped some of the words, or you didn't write as well?
Uh, I thought that means 600 and 400 words for 15 and 10 marks respectively was much that was much higher. So I focused on my content because I knew that I have to finish the questions first of all. Because though it was 90 minutes, but writing four questions, completing four questions was my priority, and that too with quality. That my content, I focused more on content, and I think for 15 marks question, I write them in 350 to 400 words, and for 10 marks question, I write them in around 250 words. So yeah, I didn't reach the 600 and 400 words limit, but I think the means if the content is good, then there is no problem at all.
Okay, so as we say that quality matters more than quantity. So if like
Right.
instead of writing too many words and like focusing on the words, you can focus on your content. That will be better. So like moving to the interview part now, that how was the panel for you? It was it very grilling, or was it like a cordial panel?
It was a very cordial panel. They didn't grill me at all. I find it decent while talking with them. Yes, it was very cordial panel.
Okay. And what kind of questions did they ask? Any idea? You remember any
Uh,
question?
yes, they mostly asked me questions regarding the economy and finance section, some static questions and some questions from current affairs. So from current affairs, I remember the questions, a difference between private cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currency. This was one of the questions. And the second question was about the e-rupee initiative by the government. So these two questions from current section, and one was from means before 1 day before my interview. The minutes of monetary policy committee meeting were released. So one question from that section as well, and then some static question like what is FDI and ODI? What is the difference between FDI and FPI? And what are shadow banks and how the NBFCs are regulated like. So these were some static questions.
So any question that you said no for, or that you felt that you don't know the answer. So did you had any questions like that?
Um, yes, I remember one question. As I was means first question they asked, what were you doing since 2 years after your graduation? So I told them that I was preparing for CSE and RBI Grade B exam. So from that they asked me what was your optional. So I told them that Marathi literature was my optional. And one follow-up question on that was regarding some prize was given in that sector, but I didn't know that answer. So that question, one question, I was not able to answer.
So how did you tackle? How did you told them that you don't know the answer? Because many of the aspirants are afraid and they try to like give closer answers but not the correct answer. So what do you think?
Uh, I told them directly that sorry sir, I do not know means, the whom the award was given, and he said yes, okay, it's fine, it was a small news, it's fine if you don't know. Like that.
So instead of saying different things, you can just tell the panel that sorry and you don't know the answer. So that will be better for the panel. Okay.
Right.
And can you tell us the marks that you got in the interview?
Yes, I got 45 marks out of 75.
So were you expecting more, or you were like, yes, means this is enough?
Uh, no, about interview I had means I was thinking this. I was expecting that I should represent such that I will get around 60, 65 marks. That is a good score. But after interview, I had not thought that how much marks should I get. So that part I didn't think about.
Okay. So you must have got like very good marks in the phase two, and you were confident that you will clear it.
Yes, yes. About phase two, I was a bit confident because I think that I had written well.
Okay. Okay. So now, anything that you want to tell the freshers, that you want to tell the aspirants, that any message for them?
Yes, I think each phase has its own demand, and if you fulfill it well with your planning and due preparation, then it is easy to pass through the exam. So for phase one, I think there are four sections, and according to means, your strengths and weaknesses, means on which section you have to means prepare more and you have to devote much time. So like that means you should know yourself, and accordingly you should prepare the four sections well. And after that there is phase two, where yes, this is challenging one because now the descriptive element has been added. So economy and finance and management, these three sections are there along with English, which should not be neglected. This is my kind advice because it carries 100 marks. So yes, due respect should be given to each subject. And if you prepare economy, finance, and management well, yes, mock tests are also important because they give insights for objective questions. And I think typing answers is important because one thing you get means you get to know how to write the answers, and second thing you can improve your typing speed as well. So this is, I think, should be done for phase two. And for interview section, I think means I had done this. We have to focus on four areas. First is yourself, your biodata that we feel before the interview. And second is about the organization, that is RPS. Third thing is your static knowledge about the economy and finance section. And fourth thing is the current happenings. That is, we have to read the newspapers. So yes, on these four sections, if we prepare well, we can do well in the interview as well.
Okay, so the learnings that we got from Ms. Mamta was like in phase one, you can do mock test and you can make notes and revise like that. And for phase one, you can revise like that by making notes and all. For phase two, you need to focus on English also, because most of the students are like, I'm good in English, so I will be able to do it. But the respect should be given to the exam also, because the English also, because it carries a lot of marks. For interview, she told the four things, so that was really nice. And I hope the aspirants would have learned a lot of things from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so okay, thank you, ma'am.